Alright, it's time for the solutions for the Mastery Quiz 13 reviews. So this includes a lot of getting distance formula, getting equations of parallel and perpendicular lines, and proving that shapes are what they look like. And so this first section, you're just getting the distance between the two endpoints. We have an endpoint there and there. So we have the point here, -1, 1, and then we have the point 2, -2. And to get the distance, you need to remember to use your level of formula where you do x2 minus x1. You'll square that, and then add y2 minus y1. You'll minus those, square those, add those, and then finally at the end square root. So what we got here is 2 minus -1 for the x's, and then -2 minus 1 on the y's. And what that'll give you is 3 squared plus -3 squared. And those are both 9. Say the square root of 9 plus 9, which is the square root of 18. And I'm going to stop it right there because I don't want to plug in all this square root stuff. Anyway, brings us to number 2. We have a point over here. We're just going to follow that same pattern. Get the coordinates. So we have -3, -1. And then over here we have 5, -2. And take both of those and plug them into my formula. Subtract the x's, so it's 5 minus -3. I'm going to square that. And then we got -2 minus -1. I'm going to square that. And that'll give me, see, 5 minus -3 gives me 8. I'm going to square that. And then -2 minus -1 is the same thing as -2 plus 1, which is just -1. And I'll be squaring that. And that'll give me 64 and 1. So I got the square root of 65. And I totally forgot to get the slope. And so here, let me do that real quick. I'll do it on this side here. Slope is going to be, well, the rise is going to be this number, -1, and the run is going to be the other difference, is going to be 8. And on this one, here we'll get the slope, and that's going to be -3 over 3, which is just -1. So yeah, -1 and -1, 8. And I'm just going to call that m, because that's what slope is. I'll say that's m. And bring us to number 3. We have a point here at 3, 2. And then a point over here on the left, which is at 0, -2. I need to subtract the x's. That's 3 minus 0. All squared. And then subtract the y's. We got 2 minus -2. And that's going to give me 3 squared. And 4 squared. And those are the two numbers that make up my slope. The 4 is the run part, and the 3 is the rise part. Oh, no, sorry. The 4 is the rise part, 3 is the run part. Anyway, it gives you 4/3. And when you square those, you'll get 9 and 16. And when you add those together, you get 25. And the square root of 25 gives you 5. So we have 5 and then 4/3. That brings us to 4. We have the point 0, 4. For my right point, and my left point gives me -3, -5. And remember to get slope. So distance, and you subtract the x's, 0 minus -3. On all of these, I'm just saying the right points, x2, y2, just so you know what's going first, which one's going second. Now you have 4 minus -5. Make sure you subtract between the two numbers, and you'll end up getting subtract negative fairly often. Anyway, that's going to give you 3 squared. And then 4 minus -5 is 9. And you square those. The 9's the rise, the 3 is the run, and when you simplify that down, you get a slope of 3. When you square 3, you get 9. And when you square 9, you get 81. If you add those together, you get 90. So we're looking at the square root of 90. And that brings us to the next section, which just gives you 2 points, and then you get the distance between them. I'm going to say the second one is x2, y2 on all these cases, so I'm going to have -7 minus -4. Square that. And I'm going to have 2 minus -8. I'm going to square that. And when I do that subtraction, I'm going to get -3, which I'll need to square. And then I'll get 10, which I squared. And that reminds me that the slope is going to be the 10 goes on top, that's the rise, the -3 is the run part, so -10/3 would be my slope. when you square negative 3, you get 9. And when you square 10, you get 100. So we're looking at the square root of 109. See that? On number 7, I'm going to start that up here. I'm going to do negative 5 minus 7. I'll square that. And then negative 3 minus 5. Let me square that. And then, when you do that subtraction, you're going to get, see, negative 5 minus 7 gives you negative 12. That's the run. And then negative 3 minus 5 gives you negative 8. And that's the rise part, so when I look at my slope, slope's going to be negative 8 over negative 12, which when you simplify it down, you divide both by 4, you're going to get 2/3 positive. When you square negative 12, you get 144. And when you square negative 8, you get 64. And when you combine those together, you get the square root of, let's see, a0 carry that 2, 108. Gives you that guy. Moving on to the next two. Let's see, we need to subtract the x's, so 1 minus 7. Square that. And then I'm going to do 2 minus 6. Square that. And when you do that subtraction, let's see, 1 minus 7 gives you negative 6. So I need to square that. And then 2 minus 6 gives you negative 4. Let me square that. The 4 is the rise. Oh, I need a little bit more. That's the rise, negative 4. And then the run is going to be the negative 6 part, so that's going to give you, if you divide top and bottom by 2, you're going to get 2 and 3, and the negatives cancel out, so you get 2/3. Negative 6 squared, so back to the distance part. Negative 6 squared is 36, and negative 4 squared is 16 positive. When you add them up, you're going to get, let's see, 2 carrying 52. So that's square root of 52. Let's see, this next one, distance, subtracting my x's, so I got 3 minus negative 6. And then I'm going to do negative 5 minus negative 2, which I'll square. And when you do that, you'll get, let's see, 3 minus negative 6, same thing as 3 plus 6, which is 9. Let me square that. And then negative 5 minus negative 2, same thing as negative 5 plus 2, which is negative 3. And the negative 3 is the rise part, the run's 9. And when you simplify that down, you're going to divide top and bottom by 3. You'll get 1/3 negative, because negative divided by positive is negative. Alright, so now when we square these, we're going to get 81 plus 9. Because negative times negative is positive, so it's positive 9. And we have the square root of 90. That's a 0, not a 6. Ta-da! And then we get number 9. Let's see, I'm going to do it here. I'm going to subtract my x's, so 2 minus negative 4, which I'll need to square. And then we got negative 8 minus negative 5, which will square. And when you do that, you're going to get, see, 2 minus negative 4 gives you the same thing as 2 plus 4, which is 6, which will need to square. And then negative 8 minus negative 5, same thing as negative 8 plus 5, which is negative 3. Let me square that guy too. Those are my rise and run. The rise is going to be the negative 3 part. The run is going to be 6. Divide top and bottom by 3, you get 1/2 negative. And so that's my slope. The distance, see, 6 squared is 36. And negative 3 squared is 9. If you add those up, you're going to get the square root of 45. Which is that guy. Number 10. I'm going to subtract the x's, so 8 minus 1, that's the x's part. The y part is 5 minus negative 6, which I'll need to square. And, see, 8 minus 1 is 7. And then 5 minus negative 6, I think it's 5 plus 6, which is 11, which I'll need to square. The 11's the rise, the 7's the run. So, no, that's just 11 cents, that doesn't simplify any. When you square 7, you get 49, and when you square 11, you get 121. Let's see, add that up. Let's see, 9 carry, you're looking at 170. And square root of 170. Alright, so that's that first section. I'll stop there.